These ain't glamorized gang of prison stories, man. These is lived experiences. Welcome back to the Swing Glow Podcast Show through Rock Creek. It's an absolute pleasure to be back here at this roundtable amongst my roundtable family. Man, salute to everybody that was able to catch the live, and salute to those of y'all that's able to catch it a little bit later on in your day. Now, look, before I jump into what I'm gonna jump into, please let me take this opportunity now to ask if you haven't already did it to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Swing Glow Podcast Show do rock creep. It helps us get further into the algorithm, and that's always the goal. And as we grow, y'all gonna grow with us. I promise you that. Make sure y'all hit the notification bell also, man. So when we do these lives or we drop a premiere video or whatever, you'll be notified immediately and you will be right there front and center. You won't miss a beat. And I promise you, it won't cost you nothing. It won't charge you nothing, man. Just hit the like, hit the subscribe, most definitely. And if you feel like jumping in the chat, dropping a comment, or in the comments section, please take that opportunity to do so. I always encourage participation. I try to get to all the comments. You know what I mean? Engagement, hey, man, I invite it. You know what I'm saying? When you become part of this roundtable family right here, man, everybody voice count. I take in, everybody's character because I know everybody that come to this roundtable is of good character. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is embraced wholeheartedly here. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Okay, now look, man. Uh, I wanted to take y'all back into my LA County jail days, right? Now I've told y'all many stories about them time periods. This was in the year of 1995 when I got incarcerated on this case that I'm in here for now. 1995. Okay, and during that time, man, it was a lot going on in the Los Angeles County jail. It was a lot. And the incidents that I'm gonna tell you about involved myself and a few of my family members. All these incidents took place in different time periods of 1995, in between 1995 and 1996, right? Nevertheless, these was people that I was related to that these couple of incidents, I'm about to tell y'all about involves, right? Now, like I said, it was a lot going on back then in the Los Angeles County Jail. And I've told y'all about the many riots between the Crips and the Southern Hispanics, right? Now, now during those times, y'all gotta think about this for a minute, right? When we was going at it with the Southern Hispanics in there at that time, right? They had a thing called the green light, right? That they called themselves putting up on a number of different people all at one time, right? The Southern Hispanics was fighting many different wars at one time. The main one being with the Crips. Then they had a green light on the Monavillas, right? Which is a Southern Hispanic entity of the Southsiders. They had their own, politics going on. I'm not going to get into that. However, they ended up putting a green light on that game. So the Montevias is deep though. The Montevias was extremely deep, man. So I remember when the green light got put on them, they once they start coming in, they was coming in droves. So it got to the point where the Montevias had their own module. You know what I'm saying? So the Southside Hispanics, they had that war going on with them guys. Then they had a green light on the TRGs, right? The Tiny Rascals. That's a Asian gang, right? The TRGs is based in a number of different cities, all up and down California, the coastline, right? Mainly in Long Beach, right? Where they was extremely active. And the TRGs are Crips. You know what I'm saying? So um, they was going at it full fledged with the Southern Hispanics. So the Southern Hispanics had a green light on them, and then they called themselves putting a green light on us. Okay, so bam. They got all these different wars going on at one time. So I'm seeing all this stuff firsthand. I'm in the Los Angeles County Jail where all this is going down. So I'm not just seeing all this, I'm on the front lines of all this stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? So, bam, I remember a time when I spoke briefly about this story, right? Of an incident taking place. Um, one day we out on the tier, something ended up happening where a riot kicked off right there on the tier. Now, when you come out of your cell, it's a long tier. This tier consists of almost 30 cells. And in each one of those cells, it's probably going to be a good 15 people up in them. Although these cells really is made for 6 people max, right? So, bam, the tier, when you come and when everybody is coming out and everybody is on the tier, it's people all up and down that tier, bro. I'm talking about it's packed. And then you're locked in because once you come out, the only way off that tier is one way, and it's a gate. Well, it's one way for us, right? And it's a gate that the police, the sheriff, have to pop open, and then once you can go out, and then that's once you can go out and you go to the kitchen, right? So anyway, when you locked out there on that tier like that, dangerous, 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 especially when everybody is out there. So a lot of the times that's when the riots will pop off between us and the Southern Hispanics. So I remember one popping off, right? And I remember like a lot of people got hurt in it, man. Seriously, on both sides, a lot of people got hurt in that riot, right? It was probably a good 30 something knives that the police ended up finding, and not just your regular knives. You feel me? If you go on my short videos and look at some of the prison video clips that I've posted of guys that have knives that's in prison, right? Just it was stuff like that being found. You know what I mean? So bam, Grove Daisy, what's up, Brody? Glad you was able to make it, man. Salute to you. I send my love to you always, bro. For real, for real. So bam. Yeah, man. So a ride pop off while we out there, right? Like I said, many people got hurt, stabbed. They find these big old swords. You know what I mean? And man, bro, a lot of people got stabbed up real bad. Thankfully nobody died. In them rides, man, when people was going at it, it's like that gladiator stuff that you typically see in movies, where those it's just swinging swords at each other, trying to take each other out. And man, it's intense because some dudes end up getting snatched up in those crowds, getting stomped out, stabbed up, done extremely bad, extremely dirty in those rides. I've seen it happen, man. I've seen people rushed out off them tiers after something like that take place, you know, uh, barely hanging on. So, bam, I remember a ride like that popping off. One day we out there, and like I said, many people got hurt. So, bam, the ones that didn't get hurt, we remain there. Sometimes they'll try to switch the tiers around and whatnot, but for the most part, a lot of the people that was involved in it is gonna still be there. So I remember um, after that ride took place, um, all the Crips getting together, like, hey, we all finna have this meeting. Everybody come, show up. Basically, it's come down to this: we finna get cracking. It's up. So now, whoever gonna ride, y'all show up here at this time inside this cell. You feel me? And so that's what ended up happening, right? So bam, we inside this cell. There's probably about 25 Crips inside this cell from everywhere. It's Crips from everywhere, right? Compton, Watts, Long Beach, San Gabriel Valley, San Fernando Valley. Hey, there's Crips in there from everywhere, right? Gangsters neighborhood, Hoover, everywhere, right? So bam. J Dub, what's up, bro? I see you. I see you. Salute. I'm glad you was able to make the live, my bro. Salute to you as always. So bam, we inside this cell now. Now, while we in there plotting and strategizing, typically what we would do, we would because each the cells in front of the cells is bars, right? So we would get like a number of sheets and tie these sheets around the bars to block out anybody from being able to walk by and look in there. Now what we finna go in there and do, we finna go in here and make some swords. You know, we breaking down all this metal. You know, it used to be metal that'll run all the way along like the bed area, like long pieces of metal that'll run all along there, right? So we'll tear that down. We'll tear that whole metal piece down, right? And just bust it down into a whole bunch of different metal pieces, right? And then just go to sharpen it. Sharpen, you sharpen, you sharpen. You do that stuff so much you can become a professional locksmith, right? I know I developed a real good habit of being able to make a very, very well, prepared weapon. So anyway, we in that cell having this meeting, discussing who's gonna do what, how we gonna do it, when we gonna do it, and at the same time making these nods, right? And now I remember the room being extremely tense. Dudes is mad, you know, edgy, ready to get cracking, however, it has to be a form of structure to how we finna strike, and I remember distinctly it was a homie from Kelly Park, right? I ain't gonna say his name, right? The homie from Kelly Park, tall, crazy, crazy ass Crip, right? He was the most vocal out of all of us that was in there. Me, really, I'm just focused on making the weaponry and getting cracking on that. I'm hearing everything that's being said, everybody vocalizing they opinions about this and about that. I'm focused on the weaponry. All the talking and all that, that's fine and dandy. Everybody get an understanding, get on one level, that's cool. However, this part of the game still have to be focused on too. So that's what I was focused on. So bam. Now, again, everybody that was in that cell was all Crips, no non-affiliates or none of that. So while we in there, like I said, we got the whole front blocked off with curtains, so can't nobody see in there. Then we got like a couple of little young Crips that's standing posts watching, one watching this way, one watching that way. So if like the police or anybody trying to sneak up on us, or if some of the Southern Hispanics, was trying to see what was going on, what we was doing. We got homies on point. Everybody, they watching everything coming and going. So bam, I remember starting making the weapons, right? And I remember hearing the two young Crips that was standing at the front watching the tier, right? Saying like, hey man, hey, it's a MF that keep walking back and forth looking in the cell. So I hear him discussing this while I'm over doing what I'm doing. So bam. Then I hear like a couple of minutes later, right? I hear like, hey, cuz if he walk back by here and look and try to look up in here again, just snatch his ass to the bars, cuz we gonna stab this nigga. This is how tense it was. Dudes was hot. You feel me? Because when them type of riots pop off, we not trying to take no losses, although it was injuries on both sides. It was injuries on both sides. Nobody had the edge. And however, like I said, the South Siders probably felt the same exact way that we did. We not cool with taking no losses, no injuries, no nothing, right? So, dude, it's tense. We ready to get cracking. You got to remember, we was young at this time. I know I was at that time, and from what I can remember, thinking about all the faces that was in that room that day, in my head, it wasn't nobody in there over 25 years old, right? That's a fact. It wasn't no old dudes in there at this time. This particular incident happened in 1995, right? So this was before I went to the Crip module. You know, this was actually before I went to the state module or the Crip module, right? So bam. I was completely on the main line. So bam. So I'm hearing this conversation going on. So now I'm interested. So I'm like, let me go see who they talking about. So I make my way to the front of the cell, and I'm peeking out the curtain, right? And I'm trying to see. I can't see nobody, right? And then I hear like some footsteps coming, right? So I'm looking out the curtain, and finally I see this dude walking, right? So the little young Crip, one of them, he like, hey, that's cuz right there. That's cuz right there, right? So I look and I'm watching him as he walked by, right? I'm like, wait, hold up. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, this dude look familiar, right? Now, what I have to tell y'all is this, man, like I've been telling y'all, I've been doing a lot of jail time, man, which means by me having all those years invested in incarceration, it's a lot of my family members that I haven't seen in a year since I was a little kid. You feel me? So it's a lot of them like that, you know. So bam, when the dude walked by, I'm telling them like, hold up, man. I think I know him, right? So they're like, for real? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, hold up. So when he come back by, because he walking by now, what I ended up finding out later on in the game is the reason why he kept walking back and forth, trying to see who was in that cell. He's trying to figure out where all of the blacks is at, right? So, so that's why he kept walking back and forth like that, right? So anyway, so when he making his way back, and I see him, I said, hey, I stopped him. He looked, he like, huh? Right. And I opened up the curtain and I'm looking. I say, is your name Gary? He like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's my uncle, right? It's my uncle. This is my mama's older brother, right? Again, I haven't now with this particular uncle here. I haven't seen him the last before that day in the Los Angeles County Jail, right? The last time I had seen my Uncle Gary, man, I was probably like 13 years old. He was always in and out of jail when with me growing up. So um uh I remember um one day I was coming home and I'm going to my house. And I distinctly remember, I don't know if my mom's remember this or not. She be on the show though, she'd be tapped in. But I distinctly remember as soon as I walk in front of my house, I see my Uncle Gary, my mom's, and I believe my grandmother, rest in peace, was also standing out in front of our house on the porch, right? And my Uncle Gary had just got out of prison. And I'll never forget it. He had like this bright, this bright brown, like checker suit on, right? He had a perm, and this fool had a Bible in his hand, right? And I remember as I walked up, him saying, like, he telling my mom's, like, look at him. I know he not gang banging, his pants hanging off his butt, and this and that, right? I just remember him criticizing me like that, right? Standing there with that Bible in his hand. So let's fast forward till that day in the Los Angeles County Jail, and I seen them. The reason why it was hard for me to really like know that it was him because he not not only did he age, but he ended up getting strung out on drugs, right? Unfortunately, not to put his business out there, but I have to give y'all an explanation. It wasn't just all the time that I invested in jail, but you know, life kicked him in the butt because of his addiction, his bad habits. So he looked at horrible to keep it real. So bam, anyway, um, um, when I tell him who I am, he instantly know. Everybody, my family name is my family name. When that name is said, everybody knows. So bam, he go crazy. So I'm telling them in the cell, right? I'm like, hey man, I said, this is my uncle, bro. So they like, no, I'm like, yeah. I said, hey, we got to let him in here, right? Now, again, there was nothing in that cell but Crips. It wasn't supposed to be nobody else in there but Crips. But I'm not gonna leave my uncle out here. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to get him in the cell. So bam, because you know in that environment, the way that that environment was, like, man, we was finna go, and that's what we was in there plotting, and that's why it was so hostile, because we was in there preparing, and everybody is young, and then the adrenaline was just going through the roof, and dudes just wanted to get cracking because it was either you gonna get cracking or they gonna get cracking on you. You feel me? And it was nobody there that was trying to be a victim, and we didn't have the mentalities of taking loss like that. Not at all. You feel me? And neither did the Southsiders, which always made those wars unique within itself. You feel me? So that's why I always trip out when I be hearing these dudes saying that one group is scared or another, and that could be further from the truth, from and I can say that for both sides. You know what I'm saying? From the black perspective and from the Hispanic perspective. You have real caliber dudes in all, not just the blacks in Hispanics, in all white, Asian, all. I've been able to meet a number of great dudes from everywhere. You know what I mean? And that's a blessing. That's a blessing to be able to say that. You feel me? So yeah, man. But that was the intensity of that environment back then in 1995 and 1996 and just the early 90s period. So that was the one time, man, where my one of my family members, you know, unbeknownst to him, that he was going to get got and didn't even know it just for looking inside of a cell, and those being mad and intense and wanting to take that anger out on somebody. Like those was crashing everything, moving everything. And if you wasn't going to be with that intensity, then you was going to be up out of there, and I've seen it happen over and over again. You feel me? But yeah, man, that was the nature of the Los Angeles County Jail. The Los Angeles County Jail had to be the most extremely violent place I have ever been in my life. The most dangerous, and I've been in a number of different prisons all over the state of California, right? And I've told y'all, I don't know what Camp Snoopy looked like. And I'm not bragging. That's not me saying that I'm bragging about any of this stuff. And I have to keep reiterating that because the message is always clear on where I stand. And you still have idiots that would say idiot things to me in the comment section. Like, y'all don't know what I stand. Well, then again, they can't if they saying idiot stuff in the comments, right? But those of us that's here, that's part of this roundtable family, we know where we stand. We know what we push, and we know what the message is always going to be about, to society, to these communities. And it's never to seek and destroy. It's never to recruit into something that is going to lead you to absolutely nothing but here inside of a prison cell or in the grave. And you have some people that have absolutely no problem with being in either, and that's fine if that's what you choose to do for your life. However, those of us that is of a woke conscience want better for the people, and I can't see myself ever pushing no other narrative, other than one of righteousness to lead these youth, man. Well, not just lead, but just show them it's options, it's better options other than just, you know, what you see some dude on YouTube saying that, a lot of people that's putting stuff on social media is just making it look good. Some people is not really living like that. Some people not really doing it like that. Some of these musicians, these rappers, they make they build a fantasy for y'all, man, to make you feel good, to make you feel like you want to live like this, but they not even living like that. Some of them, So to be able to be on point with the message and stay on course with the message, you know, and understand that that message is bigger than me, is bigger than you, is bigger than all of us. We want it to be bigger than all of us. That's the only way that it's going to reach the masses, right? So, yeah, man, to the people that continue to get at me with idiot comments, I'm pushing negative, like I'm on here bragging about prison. I don't brag about it. I make people aware, these people, bro, you get to actually deal with somebody that's living in the shit in real time. It's you dealing with somebody that's living it in real time. So this doesn't have to become your reality. You know what I mean? And I can't make it no clearer than that for those that keep on saying, why don't you tell the kids just to stay out of prison? And what you think we do here? This isn't a recruiting uh, uh, podcast. We don't recruit people to want to come to prison. How much of an idiot could you be to ever think that I mean, you probably do got them out there that's into that, but not here. You can't go find one video where we're saying, "Hey, come to prison. It's fun. Come hang out. Go fuck your life off, man. Go do some dumb shit. End up in prison with me." There's a whole lot of room for you where you get to come and sit in a concrete slab for however many years you want to give away to nothingness. Life stops. Life stops. And for the weak, so does the mental, if you allow it. But never, in no way, shape, form, or fashion, are we telling anybody to go commit no crimes, go do no dumb shit, mess up your life, turn your life upside down, separate yourself from your family, your kids, where you are forced to make them fill out visiting forms just to travel hundreds of miles to come see you for a couple of hours. Then they got to travel all the way back. You feel me? Like, come on, man. Y'all got to be more smarter than that, or at least don't look at a 40-second video clip and form a judgment on somebody that you don't even know. How about you take the time out, stop being lazy. I know some of you people don't like to read, so now you getting to the point where your mind it can't even focus on a whole video. A 40-second clip video gives you a small percentage of something that was being said in the form of a whole story. You feel me? So come on, man. Y'all got to stop being lazy, man, and put the work in and the time and the patience, and stop having your mind already thinking in a negative sense towards that person, especially if you don't know nothing about them. Point blank, period. Wizard, what's up, my bro? Salute to you as always. I send my love out to you and to Australia as well, man. Wizard said, you're giving us amazing access into your life, and it's appreciated. Your message is very powerful, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, Wiz. Hey, I sometimes I wish like when I was younger, they had this internet stuff where and like phone access where we was able to get this type of inside look, at what how those really feel that's incarcerated, how they look at things, because people will have you believe in a whole completely different story. Like I've said, I've heard dudes jump out there and describe people that's in my situation as being angry, mad, negative, wanting to wreck the youth, keep them locked up with us. We try to make prison seem like it's cool and all this and that, right? I've heard all these crazy things. You feel me? And Think about it. Don't they seem like they're more disturbed and mad, and all the things how they describe us? Don't that seem like that's more them than it could ever be me? I mean, I don't know no other way to put it. You feel me? I can sit here and throw myself a pity party on being in prison for how long I've been in prison, and everything that I can think of, right? Cry about it and this and that, right? But come on, man, we not here for that. We here with strength. We here with encouragement. Weakness, nah, weakness didn't get us through 31 years of surviving inside of a jungle, inside of a hellhole. So we give strength, we give encouragement to the people that need that through these experiences, through these crazy stories, but it's all true. It's all true. Now, the other thing that I wanted to tell y'all about, right, was another incident that involved one of my cousins who was a blood. Now, now, uh, now during this time, when this incident took place, right? No reparations, no votes. Salute to you, my bro. Glad you was able to make the live, man. Always appreciated here at the round table. Much love. Okay, so yeah, this incident involved one of my cousins who was a blood, right, from Pueblo Bishop. Now, during this incident actually happened when I was in the state module, and I believe this was probably like the beginning of 1995, right, or in the middle somewhere. So, bam. As a matter of fact, it was the beginning. So, bam, we up in there now. I told y'all during this time period, a lot of my homies from my community ended up getting locked up, and a lot of us was already on parole. A lot of us had got out around the same time. A lot of us got locked right back up around the same time. So dudes was on parole and all that. So when I get locked up, it's a number of my homies that got locked up around the same time. So dudes is on parole. We all end up in the state module. That's where you go when you're on parole, right? Whether you're on YA parole or state parole. So I remember a number of us being in the state module, and during that time, it was a lot of things, different things going on. We even had riots with Bloods, the Crips and Bloods, right? There was a number of different incidents that was taking place between the Crips and Bloods in there at that time in the Los Angeles County Jail. So I remember uh, one of my homeboys going to court, and him and a number of other Crips was on the bus, and the Bloods came out their handcuffs and took off on them, right? They roughed them up a little bit, but it wasn't really no serious injuries like that. Although they got on him. The Bloods got on my homeboy and a couple of more Crips on the bus. So bam, that same my homeboy, he ended up going to court again. So when he go to court this next time, now it's him, it's a couple of homies from Hoover, and I believe it was a homie from A-Tray Gangster, right, on the bus. And just so happened these dudes come with their handcuff keys, the homies, right? They prepared this time. So bam, on the bus with them was like a couple of Bloods. I think it was probably like two of them, and the homies end up coming out their handcuffs, man, and taking off on the Bloods with the chains, right? Just like how I described to y'all how the South Side Hispanics did me, right? Came out them handcuffs, took them chains off, and started beating me with them chains, right? This is what the homies did to the Bloods on the bus, right? Caught two of them on there slipping. So bam. After that incident happened, I remember us going to the kitchen one day, and I remember us sitting down at the table eating, and my homeboy, he's sitting next to me. He's sitting there, he mad about something, right? So I just remember him sitting there like, cuz this bust ass nigga, right? So I'm like, who you talking about? So he showed me who he talking about, right? So when I look, they sitting like a couple of tables over. Dude, he had Jerry curl, black ugly dude, right? Blood dude. It was probably about three of them sitting over at the table where he was at. But the one that my homie talking about, he looking over there, he mad as I don't know what. He was one of the ones that the homie took off on the bus with the chains, right? He over there mad as I don't know what, right? So bam. But he ain't saying that. Yeah, he definitely mad dogging over what we looking at. So so I'm surveying his whole table. That's the dudes that's sitting with him. So there was another one sitting to the left of him, right? I look at him and I look and I'm like, he look familiar like a motherfucker, right? Like, damn, he look familiar, right? And I'm looking at him, I'm like, that's crazy. Like, you ever see somebody, right, that you might think look like you or familiar you ever see somebody like that in life? Well, this was like what was going on in my head. And like I said, I haven't seen a lot of my family members, man, since I was a kid, since I was little, right? So I'll be seeing people like you know what I'm saying? So bam. Anyway, so I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay. So bam, when we when it's time for us to leave the kitchen, when we get up, we gotta walk by the table, right? So when we walk by, that's when the homie, like do rock Crip. When we walk by their table, he bang on the one dude, right? Do rock Crip and do hollered out his set, right? So bam, when that happened, I'm waiting to see if somebody else gonna say something. You know, ain't nobody else saying nothing, right? But the dude that's sitting to the left of him, he look up and we lock eyes. And I swear to God, I can tell he was thinking the same thing I was thinking, like, I know him, right? So bam, we keep going. Bam. So to the module, we on the tier. We standing out on the tier, right? Me and like it's probably like five or six of my homies from my community in there, right? So we all on the tier, along with a whole bunch of other, Crips and people from everywhere, right? We all out on the tier. So bam, we upstairs. We all upstairs. So while we standing up there, the dudes downstairs, right? It's probably like five bloods down there, right? So they all out down on the tier. So I remember my homeboy, the one that did that to the blood dude on the bus. I remember him like pacing back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And he was agitated. He mad. He like, hey, cuz. He like, man, a nigga finna go get on this nigga, cuz. Nigga finna get on this nigga, cuz, right? So I'm like, what you talking about? So he used the derogatory term to diss the Bloods, right? Like that ass nigga right there, right? So when he point downstairs and I look down there, really it was only one person that I seen standing there, right? That was looking up, right? With no fear, with no nothing. You know what I'm saying? When I look down there, it's the guy that I had locked eyes with, right? So he's standing there with his arms crossed. He's looking up like this, right? He got the bright red chain with the red cross on it, right? So he's standing there, he's looking up there. He like got like a smirk on his face, like a smirk on his face, no fear, none of that, right? Like man, he had the look on his face, like man, bring it, right? So bam. But it was like I said, it was probably like five or six of them down there, right? And there was a couple of homies that was down there too. So bam. Now before I have any interaction with the guy that's downstairs, I'm with the homie. I'm ready to go, right? So bam. When I look back down there, Bro still standing down there looking up there, right? So I'm like, man, so I'm like, hey, I said, hey man, I said, what's your name, right? So he looking, right? And he tell me his name, right? I'm like, oh, right. So I'm like, I hit him with his last name, his brother name, all that, right? So that's when he realized who I was. Right? So I'm telling my homie, I'm like, oh man, this can't happen, bro. I said, that's my cousin, fool. Right? He's like, what? He like, that's your cousin. He's like, hell no, nigga. He's like, why he looking up here like man, like chill out, bro. That's my cousin, bro. Like I'm like this. I'm like this, right? For the people that don't know. When it comes to my family, I don't care if they Crip or blood, non-affiliate, right? Ain't nobody finna do nothing to them. It ain't finna be no set tripping. It ain't finna be no weird shit. It ain't finna be none of that, bro. None of that, right? You can't even say nothing or do nothing to any of my family. If we in jail, right? Like, come on, bro. Any of them come around me, and I've had some of my cousins around me, right? Any of them come around me, you can't. Hey, don't do it while I'm there, because I'm getting in it. And all my cousins is from everywhere. You feel me? So, hey, Crips and blood. So yeah, it's not going to be no weirdness, right? So once we realized who each other was. That's why we was looking at each other like that. Crazy, but he was from Pueblo Bishop blood. You feel me? Him and his brothers from Pueblo, man. I'm not gonna say their name. I spoke about this story before, and I probably said their name in that story back then. You know what I'm saying? However, a lot of those older videos are removed because it might have had something in the title or in the thumbnail that involved one of these PC rats that's online, reporting pages, and I'm not trying to give these guys no ammunition to try to say that I'm bullying in any type of way, shape, form, or fashion. So if you give them the ammunition by putting their name in the title or mention their name too much in your video, you best believe you're gonna become a target. So I would much rather not say anybody's name. If the guilty will always stand out. The guilty will always try to defend themselves, or their sympathizers. You know what I mean? So anyway, man, um, yeah, man. So that we had to abort that mission, because this is my cousin, and not only that, he was my older cousin too. On top of that, that dude been a blood. When I was little, he was always a blood, always a blood. That he never wore it out. Always seen him in red. That was probably the first blood I ever seen. Was my cousin. You feel me? And he was always like wow, always. How everybody doing? Jake Brown, what's up with my bro, man? Salute to you. That's big bro right there, man. Always tapped in. Much love and respect to you always. You know that. Beach boy, what's up with my Brody, man? I'm glad you was able to make the live too, man. Salute to you as well. I send my love and respect to you and the family, Brody. How everybody doing out there tonight, man? It's hot as I don't know what. I've been up under my fan all day. All day. Took a cold shower, hop right back up under the fan all day. This is like that unusual hot. I feel for the people that ain't got no fans or no ACs, no air conditioners. Imagine the homeless people that's sleeping outside right now in them cardboard boxes. That heat, that ain't finna stop that heat from coming in. Oh, Wizard, today your birthday, man. Happy birthday. You turned 54 today? Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday to you, man. I hope you having a great one out there too, man. For real, for real. What you do? What you do? What you do today, man? How you celebrate it? Miss Golden, where you at? Jackson Darrell say I'm good, Creek. Got my door cracked, feeling the breeze. Hey man, that's the best. Hey, it always seemed like that's the best AC you can get, man. When you can get that breeze, when you open the door up, set your chair right there and catch that breeze coming through, hitting you. For real, for real. Got that coming in one direction. You might got your fan on or some or the AC popping in the back. Wizard said, "Thank you, brother. Walking on my boy to turn. Then we play up. Oh, for sure, for sure. No reparations, no votes." Said, "Bruh, have you ever tried to make a swamp cooler for yourself?" Um, nah, but I've known people that tried to make the. You feel me? And some dudes that I've known that tried to make it said that it worked, but I haven't personally made a swamp cooler. Uh-uh. I probably need to, man, as hot as it is. But and the cool thing about it, I've been around dudes that knew how to build all kind of different stuff, right? That's one thing that I never learned how to build, a swamp cooler. All right, I see you, Miss Golden. I know you there, my beautiful woman. Jackson Dale, everybody saying happy birthday to you, Wiz. Happy birthday to you, man. We love you, man. For real, for real. Hey, hey, man, hey. Turning 54, right? It got to feel crazy. You feel me? Especially like if you've been through, because I know Wizard then he didn't walk the same walk. And now, he's been able to get out there and get back to living with his family and just live his life, to the fullest, man, and that's a great thing to be able to, and then you're able to do it out there free. That's a wonderful blessing, man. That's right, Miss Golden. Yeah, man. But I remember um having a confrontation with somebody behind one of my family members, man, and it got ugly, but I'm just the type of, well, actually, shit, I done had a couple of confrontations with dudes behind different situations that may have occurred with them or and one of my family members, right? And it always turned out bad. It always turned out bad, man. That's just how I get down. You know, you can't say something about somebody that I'm related to and you around me and think that we gonna be cool and buddy buddy. And this whole time, like you have some type of feelings or you despise somebody that I'm related to that I may happen to love dearly. You feel me? J-Dub SGV, my Brody, he say, hey, Creed, does Do-Rock let women in? There's definitely women from our community. Definitely. Quite a few of them, too. And they will proudly let you know it. You feel me? But you, believe it or not, man, there's a lot of different communities that allow females to join, and a lot of them like really be with the business too, bro. I've known quite a few. Hey, I remember, you know, I told the story. I told the story before, right? About being in my hood one day and walking down the street and a truck full of Southside Hispanics pull up on me. I swear it had to be like 10 of them in that truck, right? All it was a gang up in the back. They was all piled up in the front. And I'm walking, minding my business, and when I got up on them, they slowed down. The next thing I know, they hopped out and surrounded me, right? And was asking me where I was from and all this and that. And I distinctly remember one of my homegirls, right? I don't know where them females, it was her and another one. I don't know where they came from, but out of nowhere, all I heard was, "Nah, that ain't gonna go down like that on Do Rock Crip," right? Banged out. That ain't y'all not gonna do that to the homie on Do Rock Crip, right? Bang it, right? And I remember that catching their attention, like it even tripped them out to hear female banging like that. I swear to God that happened. And then like a few seconds after that, I've told this story before, I swear to God, right? A few seconds after that, that's when my other homegirl, Claudette, shout out to my homegirl Claudette, man. That's my homie baby Nuts wife, right? Her and the homie Lee pull up, right? And that's when all hell broke loose. I told y'all about that story, man. But yeah, man, these are females that that was really like out there in the field. So yeah, we got them, Brody. No reparations, no votes said, or the brothers having a Juneteenth spread this week. They're actually planning. Yeah. I was told they got something cracking. They definitely got something cracking. I was told that somebody was gonna be cooking something. Groove Deezy said, "What hood don't allow females in it?" I don't know none that don't allow it. I don't know none, bro. I can't think of no hood that don't have females that represent they turf. I can't think of one. You know what I mean? And, again, a lot of them females do be turned up. They be full-fledged members. Groove Deezy said, "Hey, Cree, do you have any family from Hoover?" Well, um, no, I don't. Right. However, however, being that my uncle was from Nine Mafia, right? As I was growing up, it was always Hoovers at my house, it around me, right? OGs. I'm talking about OGs, right? It was always Hoovers around me. It was always with my uncle. Yeah, it was always Hoovers and nines that when I was growing up, that I always seen. Always. You feel me? Always. Mafia Red from Nana Mafia, Big Bod, Mouse, rest in peace. Big Bam, rest in peace. All these dudes from Nana Mafia. You know what I'm saying? I can just go on and on and on and on, include my uncle Big Darcel. It's I can go on and on, bro. Big Pup, you feel me? So, and then all the Hoovers, you know what I'm saying? I can name them. Wizard said, "You and I are similar ages, and I'm blown away with how much time you've done. I'm definitely a huge supporter. Much respect, my friend." Hey, yeah, man. Yeah, we definitely I'm 53, so I'll be 54 in February. So yeah, we definitely in the same age bracket, Wizard. You feel me? And to keep it all the way real with you, I am surprised sometime too that what I've been able to get through over the years, being in here all these years, but at the same time, you know, a strong-willed and strong-minded person can get through anything and conquer it. Especially if you know your mission is greater than any of this. Groove Deezy said, "Non mafias, them guys, them guys were getting that paper and was organized." Oh yeah, yeah, man, yeah, man. Hey, man, if I tell you the dudes that I've spoken about, I've told some stories, Groove Deezy, about uh um let me see, man, Big Duck. Big Duck. I think Big Duck was from 107 Hoover Road, either from 107 or 11 Deuce, right? He shot himself in the head in my mother's kitchen, right? He shot himself in the head in our house, bro. I told that story. You feel me? Like man, I can go on and on. You feel me? So Hoover's always been around. Always, always. That's why I've always had the greatest relationships with the bros. For real, for real. Yeah, man, it was a trip. It was a trip. Me and my mom was just talking about that, right? She'll tell you. She'll tell you, man. She didn't even want to go back to the house after that happened because uh uh we didn't know if he was after he shot himself in the head. We didn't know if he was gonna pass away or not. Luckily, my uncle got into the hospital just in time, man. Luckily, I don't know. He was crazy though. He was crazy, bro. Big Duck was fool, a fool. Was on swole too back then. You feel me? But um, um, I just remember him being crazy. I don't know what, man. And that day, when that happened, we was at my grandmother's house, um, and and that's when my mom's got the call that he had shot himself in her kitchen, and my uncle had to rush into the hospital. So didn't nobody know if he was gonna make it or not. And my uncle was telling her like there's blood all over the house. Don't come back until I clean up everything. She like, yeah, I'm not going back to that house. I don't know if he passed away or this and that, and there's just blood everywhere. I don't want to go back and see none of that. So my uncle had to go clean all that stuff up, man. But he got into the hospital, saved him. With Hoover Joe, I remember hearing that name, Hoover Joe, but I don't think so. You feel me? Man, I can name a gang of growers I've been on the yard with, bro. Gang of them. Legendary dudes too, man. Legendary, legendary dudes, man. Real talk. On the yards and in the LA County Jail, Crip modules. You know what I'm saying? I can name a million of them. Oh, okay, okay, okay. He said, "Oh, Hoover Joe, the OG homie that started Hoover." Okay, for sure, for sure. Um, Let me see. Uh, It's been a lot of hoopers, man. It's been a lot. 7-4. Okay, for sure, for sure. Um, I don't know if you ever heard of him, but um, I was locked up with this was during the time when I first met Big Trigger Bird in '94, right? With Baby Shady from 7-4. Baby Shady was a very well known 7-4 Hoover, right? Just put it that way. Very well known, right? And when I first met him, he just banged out, and then he ended up converting over to Islam. You feel me? And after he converted over to Islam, that was like the last time I had seen him, and that was way back in 1994. Bud from underground, I mean from under the he said Bud from under the groove got an interview with Hoover Joe on call in prison. Oh, okay, okay. From the Under the Groove podcast, I do be seeing bros shows popping up too from Under the Groove. I'm trying to remember because it was a Bubs with us in the Crip module too in 1995, but I don't think that's the one. And I think that Buzz was from Five Deuce Hoover, if I'm not mistaken. John Connor said, "Shout out at all my round table, free all my level 4 soldiers that stood on principles when others took the easy way out, aka punk in the game. San Diego, much love, bro." Let me pin that up right there, man. Salute to you as well, man. We appreciate you for putting that, standing on it. All love, all respect to all the ones that still stand on business, that still respect the code that was set in stone and in place long before any of us came into this game, bro. You know, we in the sacrifices, all the sacrifices that dudes made, the losses that we've taken up under that structure just to get that structure respected. That's what we do it for. Nothing more, nothing less. And again, it's not to glamorize anything other than you standing up for what you are supposed to be standing up for and not half-assing it or watering it down, and trying to spin the narrative. You feel me? So again, salute to everybody that's standing up, man. Oh, okay, he from 7-4. Okay. Then again, I think it was another Bubs too that was in Calipat with us, right? Um, I know a couple of Bubs from the group. You feel me? It was a whole bunch of overs in Calipatria, as y'all know. John Connor said, "I had a chance to parole early when they changed the yards from fire camp milestones, but I said I can't go home like that, but others would have stayed." Hey, that's real, bro. And that's what I be trying to tell these people when it comes to those milestones, right? The milestones will get you like some weeks cut off, you know, a month or so. It's not knocking off a large chunk of time, you know. When you get certain certificates and you take different programs, you can get those milestones. But and again, you're not getting no years knocked off your time. The only way that can happen is if you go back to court on an appeal, or the board of prison terms, if you got to go sit before them to get released out of prison, or they considering you for parole, they the only ones that can parole you. Other than that, going to a PC yard, SNY 50/50, whatever you want to call it, is one and the same. Is not the route. Those are the ones that want to go that route is deciding to go that route. Okay. Groove Deezy said he on the Under the Groove podcast. It's his podcast. I've seen that podcast. I've seen him on there. I've seen him on there. He be having some good he be having some good content too. I caught a couple of his shows over there. Hey, John Connor, that's good though, man. You stood on business, bro, like you were supposed to. Just to get a couple of weeks knocked off, man, it's not worth compromising your integrity, you know. And people will be like, "Oh, you choose to stay longer when you got the opportunity to come home faster by going to one of those yards." And hey, bro, again, I have if when you can walk the miles in the shoes that I have walked behind these walls, then you come talk. Okay? You don't invest all those years into doing the absolute right thing, taking all those years and just throwing it away to go down to something that you know isn't right, something that you know that will put a target on your back for the rest of your life because you know it ain't right. You feel me? Thinking that that's going to get you out, and going to those yards is not going to get you out, bro. It's a setup. It's a setup. Point blank. Period. Do not be fooled. Groove Deezy said, "What you think about that Carmelo Anthony kid down in Texas, bro?" I think that he's gonna be all right. I think that if once he hit the system, the brothers in there, bro, is definitely going. They not gonna just let just know anybody just get up on him. Don't listen to the rumors. Only the people that's within the system out there know how he's gonna be received once he get behind those walls. Point blank. Period. Like people is not just gonna hand him over to the wolves and allow just anything to happen to him. That ain't how it worked typically. And again, I don't know their system out there in Texas. However, and my opinion about that situation is I've proposed the question before. Instead of the other kid pushing Carmelo Anthony like they did, what instead they pulled out a weapon and stabbed him, or worse, shot him, right? Then what would be the response? Because we've seen the outcome of them initiating the conflict like that and nothing happening to them. For instance, like the one kid that had that AR-15 and shot up the crowd, right? You had people sending all kind of donations to bail him out of jail because they felt he did the right thing. You feel me? It's lopsided, bro. Stapledon, salute, man. Sending my love to you. Dalmo Robbins, my brethren, salute. Sending my love to you, man. I'm glad y'all was able to make the live, man. Much love and appreciation always. For real. Glad y'all was able to show up, Brodies. John Connor said, I got a couple years off. It went from 85% to 66% of my time, but that still to me didn't didn't suffer for punking the game. Nah, bro. Nah. Yeah, the fire camps is PC. Yeah. Nah, man, you can't compromise integrity. You cannot compromise any of that, bro, because you know, we know what's right and what's wrong, bro. If you're not gonna get out and tolerate living next door to a chomo or somebody that's registered as a sex offender or any of that, right? You not nobody out there is willing to do it. Why they keep them 100 feet away from a school? Why? Why they make them register anytime they're in any community? Why? You know, so how can y'all ever expect me to go down to one of these yards and function amongst these guys that the whole world know is not right? It's expected of me to do something to somebody like that. I can never be able to look myself in the mirror knowing that I've been around a person like that, knowing this little kids in my family that still got a whole life to live. You feel me? And I was around them and done nothing, giving them, the thoughts in their head like it's cool. I was able to survive prison around these big tough gangsters. They done nothing to me, so I go out and touch their kids some more. Come on, bro. Y'all got to be out y'all mind. That Moose say I'm finna clock in and listen in, so I might not be able to comment. Cause all right, for sure, Damu, it's all good, bro. I appreciate I appreciate you just being here for real, for real. John Connor say, I believe I was supposed to get out in like 2020, but I got out like 2018, but the yards didn't go to 50-50 yet when I was still in camp. Yeah, they did all that like um uh they did all that probably like 2019, somewhere up in there. Groove Easy said, I think he gonna give some of that time back. I don't think he gonna do the whole 30 something. Yeah, he might get some he might go back. He got definitely got action on his appeal, of getting some of that time knocked off, bro. Because they railroaded him. He wasn't gonna get no fair trial out there. You know what I'm saying? There was no way he was gonna get a fair trial. No way at all. Look how people was acting. And seeing that think about this. As mad as these people are about the outcome of his case, right? Think about how mad the people was when the outcome of the O.J. Simpson case, when they said he unalived two people and beat it, right? Oh my God. Hey, America was hot. All of America was hot behind it, right? The same way they are behind this kid unaliving the young white guy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, man. Shit is wild, bro. Rule Deezy said, yeah, I remember that. No reparations, no votes said. R.I.P. Trayvon Martin. Zimmerman baited him. They pulled I'm white and I say so on K. Anthony. Yeah, man. Hey, man, I pointed, yeah, man. It angers me. It angers me when I get on that topic. I expect people to be angry like me, and society isn't. They flash a light on it for a couple of seconds, and then the light is gone, and then the next unfortunate black person take another loss. Here it is. You got one dude that went to a grocery store where he knew a lot of unsuspecting black people occupied, purposely went there and shot it up. Women, kids, and all shot it up. You feel me? And like, come on, man. Groove Deezy said integrity and honor. John Connor said, man, I've seen a dude posting on a 50-50 giving head up phase to other races, still trying to act gangster. That's why I say they have absolutely no structure on those yards. None. They not just giving up head up phase with them, but they move in the cell with whoever they want. They lay up with other men. Like everything, every structure that is supposed to be there is not there over there, which is why it's always stuff happening over there. Like giving up head up phase with different races and stuff like that. Man, come on. That's crazy work. Ernest Strapalon say, I got a homie that's been on for 7 and got hit with natural life for a body. How do someone like me in the free world keep him grounded? Keep him grounded in his mental in order. I answer all his calls every week right now. Hey man, that definitely helps. Being able to have communication with people that's in out there in society, it makes the person that's incarcerated feel included in on life still, although you have this wall that's blocking you from the rest of the world. You at least have communication. You at least have stable relationships with people that's still out there that's showing you that they still care for you, that they still want you to be part of their life, that still want you to be part of that world out there in any way that they can include you in on. So it's always good, to as much as you can make yourself available to somebody, that because that goes a long way. And trust me, that's something that you don't ever forget. The people that was there for you in whatever way, you never forget that. No reparations, no votes said. I left Cali right before the Rodney King riot. Oh, you said you was proud of LA for setting it off after the riot. Yeah, they did that. And I told you I was in Tehachapi State Prison in the day. Well, yeah, we was at that time. I was in Tehachapi State Prison, in the reception, in the gym part though, watching that on the TV, right, and tripping out, seeing all the fires and seeing that happen to Reginald Denny and uh man, it was crazy because that was something that I had never seen before. Although I had always heard about the Watts riots and all that, being half my family is from Watts, you always hear about those stories. But to actually see this go down is unreal, unreal. No reparations, no repeat. Oh yeah, man, crazy times, bro. Crazy times, bro. Crazy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I think I'm gonna get up out of here in a minute, man. Let y'all get back to the rest of y'all good day. I know people still got things to do. Probably still preparing dinner and all that stuff. Get your last minute little shopping in on whatever it is you need to go get out there. Or something, to do with the kids or whatever, man. So I'm not trying to hold y'all up any longer than I have to. The appreciation for y'all showing up is always great, man. I salute everybody that was able to make the live. Salute to everybody that's able to catch it a little bit later on, man. Hey, hopefully these videos inspire somebody, it helps somebody. And if you know anybody that needs some type of intervention, and they need their game woken up to something, by having this type of reality check, share the video with a man, or at least, invite them to the round table, tell them to come check us out, and come hang out, man. Hey, we include all. We include all. And we're not tripping on that here. It's peaceful here. You know what I mean? Ernest Strapalon said, not gonna say his name, but young dude from that just came home from a 50-50 call out somewhere for a fade. Felt like he was trolling. For sure, Wizard, I appreciate you. Jake Brown, all right, my bro. Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Salute, big bro. For real, for real. Hey, hey, man. Um, Ernest Strapalon, we don't get into none of that. Whatever they got going on is what they got going on, man. However these dudes choose to deal with anybody on this internet is solely upon them, man. You feel me? Our thing is this: we stand up for what's right. We are here to inform correctly on what to expect, what to look forward to if you make certain decisions, and the consequences to certain decisions. Point blank, period. That's it. That's all. You feel me? But yeah, on that note, I'm finna get up out of here, man. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you all for tapping in, man. It's an absolute pleasure being back here at this round table amongst my round table family, man. And again, before I get up out of here, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, did it to the Swang Low Podcast Show. Do Rock Creep. I would greatly appreciate it. You feel me? Salute to everybody that has became part of the family as well, man. It's all love. Shout out to everybody that's out there doing something good, something safe, something, constructive for the betterment of our youth, the community, and yourselves. You feel me? But until the next time we meet at this round table, y'all take care, stay safe. Let the people that's in your life know you love and appreciate them while you can, because tomorrow is promised to none of us. On that note, I'm gone. Y'all take care. Love all y'all. Triple gang.